Hello, friends. Welcome to another live stream with Rachel and Carrie. I'm the Rachel of that equation. I'm the founder of the Intuitive Art Academy and so much more. And this is my amazing friend, Carrie Roldan, your business BFF, and so much more. And today we're going to talk about how to use your truth as a guide. And in our email today, I called your truth your magic wand. I should have a magic wand. Here we go. A cupcake with a unicorn horn. How are these two things the same? How is a magic wand that will bring anything you want to you and your truth the same thing? That's what we're going to talk about today. So, as always, hello. Thanks for already introducing yourself in the chat. I love seeing you and interacting with you here. So, feel free to chime in during the whole thing, ask questions, share what you're thinking. And if you haven't already, let us know you're here. Hi, Carrie.
Hey, Rachel. I'm here. And it's interesting. I saw the topic for today and then obviously forgot, as I always do. But as you introduced yourself and you introduced me, I thought about our and so much more. And that is so much a part of our truth and the magic wands of what we do. And I am just already finding this fascinating because, well, I know every time in my life when I have like faced a big struggle and resisted the crap out of it, Rachel has been like, speak your truth. Your truth will set you free. Speak your truth. And I'm like, no. I gotta do this just the right way. And when I finally surrender, and for me, it is often about speaking my truth. Boom, magic wand, right? Like everything happens, and so much more, right? Everything happens, everything that I wanted to happen, and so much more. It's even better. So I love that. And it's got me thinking, I'm having two conversations at once. So the first thing is that, right? The truth as the magic wand, and it gives you what you want and so much more. And this thing that we are sort of taught to do in people who are building businesses, which is narrow yourself down to one thing. And so I like that we're talking about the and so much more because it is such a big part of our truth. So there we go. That's my hello to everyone.
Yeah, what a great hello. And speaking of hellos, hi, Corinne, and hi, Gina Maria, and hi, Linda. Thanks for joining us today. So yeah, I think that's such a good, I mean, I don't plan these things, you guys. I don't plan that I'm going to say I'm this and so much more, but of course it's coming out today because that's so true. You know, I'm in the process of redoing my personal website for my coaching right now, and I finally found more ease in the so much more. And that's really what this year has been showing me is just keep it simple. And you are worthy enough of having the so much more. I think a big part of this year, right, is letting go of all the stuff that has filled our heads, sorry about all the lines, that's not us, right? So your truth is personal. It's not going to match up with the advice that the world wants to give you. So I think maybe we'll start there, in that if you want to accomplish something, or if you're building a business or just wanting more income, don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to anyone who's not guiding you to you, right? I've got a friend who is in a coaching group right now, and she's feeling judged. She's going to these coaching sessions and bringing her ideas that she's excited about, and oh my gosh, I want to do this and this, and I want to speak to this and that. And the coach is being like, well, you got to pick one. And it's been going on like that for a while. And that's the opposite of what we're talking about today, right? So she has a truth. She feels her truth. How do you know you feel your truth? It's resonant. It's uplifting. It's light. It's exciting. It's contented feeling, right? It doesn't have to be like over the top 100. It's just gentle, right? If you feel that, you have the answer that you're looking for. That's it. That's your step. If you feel your truth, that's your step. The thing that a lot of us do, like Carrie was saying, is she will then go into resistance. I can't do that. I can't say that. That's inappropriate. Or we go and share our truth with someone and they say, no, you can't do that. That's not safe. That doesn't work. So step number one of even wielding your magic wand is you have to listen to you. You and your inner resonance is the most important step, most important information. And surround yourself with people who will help affirm that for you, right? So doesn't mean we can't get coaching, doesn't mean we can't have friends and share and be excited. It just means you really want to maybe not talk about it with someone who you feel will be judgmental, and bring it up to the people who will bolster you in knowing that your truth is the most important thing. So we are leaving behind all of the doubt and the you can't do that and you have to niche down, you can't be too much, you have to pick one thing. That's not truth. Now, some people will naturally fit into that. Like my partner only wanted to do one thing for a job, right? From the time he was really little. There are gymnasts who are, going to the Olympics who only wanted to do that. That's all they wanted to do. And that's what they did. So it's not that you can't accomplish what you want just by choosing one thing, but only if that's really your truth. Will you actually be super happy and get what you want? I know for me and for a lot of you here, we love to do all kinds of things and we're good at all kinds of things. And we want to experience the being new at something and then getting good at something. So I want you to know that your outside life results, your bank account, what kind of house you live in, relationships you have, is not determined by listening to other people's rules and succeeding in the way other people have already succeeded. You get to do life on your terms, and your level of inner alignment, your level of living your truth is what will determine how your outside life looks.
Okay, so I'm going to get really practical about this because
Great.
everything you said just sounds amazing, and fairies and butterflies and magic wands, and just live your truth. Just skip down I want to say yellow brick road, but that was not a great road. Actually, that was full of all kinds of less than awesome things. But right when they started off, they're like, oh, okay, we're on our way to the truth. We're off to see the wizard. And I am experiencing if I live my truth, that means I quit my job today, right? Or if I live my truth, that means I'm trying to think of a great example. I've got none. I'm pretty much living my truth these days, Rachel. So maybe it meant pissing off a neighbor, or saying a hard thing to someone and being really worried about what if they react badly. So I guess what I want to ask is, like, what does it look like to live your truth in the real world?
Yeah, well, this is so important. And that's why we really started with what is your truth? How do you know what your truth is? Because that's going to keep you centered and out of trouble, right? Because let's go to the job situation, right? Like, there are so many things online about like, well, you got to cut your ties, you got to jump all in, you got to do the thing, quit your job, start your business. And I personally am kind of like that. Like, I just jump into things. But I only do it when I am fully aligned And I would not recommend that to anyone else unless they have a really strong sense of their backup plan, of who they are, of, if it fails, do they have some couch they can crash on? You know what I mean? Like, don't be homeless for your dreams. That's not what we want to do. And so we talked about how your truth has a feeling, right? Your truth has a feeling, and it feels gentle. It feels opening to your body. It feels like a warmth. Like, some people describe it as a like warm, tingly sensation in their midsection, sometimes just around their heart, sometimes all over. And if you feel that and you still want to say something to your neighbor, it's not going to feel offensive. It's going to feel heartfelt. If you feel that feeling and you really want to quit your job, that's because fear hasn't overtaken you and you're not in terror. I don't want you doing things out of terror, right? So feeling your truth is a really good like seatbelt for you, because you're not going to do anything crazy while you're feeling your truth. That's really important to know. We're not feeling our truth and then disconnecting from it and taking action from there. No. We are feeling our truth every step of the way, which is what's going to keep you safe and feeling comfortable. Maybe a little bit, on edge at times, but I kind of like that feeling. It's like the feeling of aliveness is a good one. The feeling of terror, not so good. So try to keep in that like contented, gentle, alive feeling, and then you'll know that you're making really good progress in like actually planting yourself in each moment of life and getting to where you want to go.
Thank you. I agree. Every moment of truth has always, if I'm operating from that feeling, that open, relaxed place has always worked out for me. It is also helpful for me to, if I start getting spun out in a story in my head, if I start getting in the what ifs, I start sentences with the truth is. Like, I'll be able to say, the truth is, I'm a kind and compassionate and loving person. The truth is, I'm not going to behave in a way that, like, I will be able to like tell myself the truth so that I can do things that are in alignment with my truth. Which is super helpful. And we have a ton of comments that I haven't read, but there's like paragraphs over there. So, Rachel, would you mind? I have to let my dog in. She's freaking out in the backyard. This is something you guys need to know. On most days when you don't need to know, but I'm telling you guys, this is my truth. I have a ring light over here because if I don't put it on at this time of day, like half of my face is dark and half of my face is light. And I have a boxer who lets herself out and then can't get back in. But if I open the door right here to let her in, she's afraid to come in because the ring light terrifies her. So I'm going to get up and leave the room and make it so she can't get out while you address some comments.
Yes. So I love your comments. I have been reading them. And let's go to Dale first. So she says, it's kind of cool being oneself in a group. Recently, during a goal setting group, I remembered that doesn't work for me. I told the group this and said I'd let them know what happens. So yeah, I'm not a goal setter either, Dale. I think most of you know that by now. I talk about it a lot because there's this idea that you have to set goals. And not only that, you have to set SMART goals, which are time bound and, specific. And that is just, woof. If you want me to not get anything done, give me a SMART goal. And so it's really good to know yourself and to know if that applies to you. What is your best way of navigating this world and still getting what you want? So that's awesome, Dale, that you know that about yourself. Linda is saying, I did many things, and my mom always told me I was a quitter. So I always felt it was a bad thing till I was 50 and studied creativity and realized it was my gift. Yes. Yes. I love that.
So I want to say more about that, Linda, and thank you for sharing. Is because I feel like that happens to a lot of us, right? Where you try something, you realize you don't like it, and your parents say something like, well, you made a commitment or you don't want to be a quitter. I remember, and yet quitting can be one of the most empowering things that we do. My husband has a story of when he was young and he wanted to quit Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts or something, and his parents told him, if you quit that, you're just going to start quitting everything. Like, you'll never finish anything. You'll always be a quitter. And, you know, that was probably the last thing he ever quit. I don't know. But like, to this day, he feels empowered by that. Like, I'm not a quitter. I take things through to the finish. I didn't like that. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to waste another second doing that. And so I don't want to, there's a downside to quitting for sure, but like, quitting can be one of the most empowering things that we do. I wish as parents, we did a better job on the whole of helping kids feel good about knowing themselves and knowing their truth, and then making an empowered choice on whether or not they want to move forward. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I also want to say, because I know you probably didn't mean it necessarily like this, but there's only a downside to doing something that you're not aligned with, right? Like, and honestly, I'm such a big proponent of being kind to yourself. If you end up quitting something, even if it's for like the wrong reason, it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. And I would rather that you do what you feel is most beneficial for you, even if it's out of fear, even if it's out of like, you know, a negative emotion. I want you to be able to trust yourself. I want you to know that, you know, I hear a lot about this like self-sabotage idea. And what if you're just doing the best you can? Right? What if you're just doing the best you can? So in a topic like today, where we're talking about living your truth, I want you to know that your truth feels good. And if quitting something feels good, if it feels like relief, you are doing the right thing, right? It doesn't mean you can't go back, right? So I just want to like take our stress level as a whole down a notch, because you've got everything you need right here. And if you get overwhelmed, it's okay to take a step back. I get overwhelmed all the time and take a step back. And it's not self-sabotage, right? It's reconnection, which is really, really important. You wouldn't just like, if you know how like when you vacuum your house and you pull the cord too tight and the cord comes out of the wall, you don't just keep vacuuming. You go back to the wall, maybe you find a new outlet, you plug it back in, and you keep going. So living your truth and having access to this magic wand is all about connection. If you're not connected, this doesn't do anything. So yeah. All right. Where to next?
I'm reading the comments. Dale says, I think it's taken me up till now to accept this about myself and how things come to me. But that's the beauty of knowing your truth. Like, I think we're all doing this. And Rachel's in the process of doing it. You guys watch us like every week go deeper and deeper into our own truths. And, you know, I just think that's so important, is to recognize like, oh, I always thought I had to be this way, but it feels better to be that way. And gosh, when I look back at my life and think about the things that have really worked for me, what did all those things have in common? And usually it's, I was aligned. I was living in my truth. As we were talking about quitting, you said if it feels like a relief. And I'm thinking about as a coach, right? As someone who people come to and they have to have that hard conversation where they say like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's so interesting, their perception of how that is going to go and what usually happens, right? Generally, if they come to me and quit, I often know it's coming and am relieved to see them go. Right? Because if they're gotten to the place where they want to quit, they're no longer helpful to the team. They're no longer helpful to my goals. They're like all of that. And, or they are an incredible human being And I see that while they love being a runner, they love being a musician more, or they love being, like, it's like it is such a, hey, I get it. I love you. I see how great you are at so many things. And I just want you to find your happy place. And it's so funny how when people come to me to quit, how relieved they are that I'm always cool with it. Like, sometimes I've been disappointed for sure. Like, man, if they only cared about it as much as but like, ultimately, you don't want someone who doesn't want to be there. And I promise you, your life feels the same way. Like, your life, it feels the same way. It's like, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. I'm only going to continue to make it hard and uncomfortable for you. So, yeah, I guess that's just it. When you said, if you feel relief, I was like, oh, you don't just feel relief. Your life feels relief too. Like, you're not ever letting anybody down if you're living in your truth. Your life, like, everything just rises up to support you in living your empowered, aligned way.
Yeah, that's really the thing that is, I think, the most, like, you can't feel that until you actually do it, right?
Yeah.
Because we are so worried about letting other people down, about following through, about doing all those things that were instilled in us as a kid of how to be a good person. And the truth that Carrie is exposing here is that when you live your truth, it's the best thing you could do for you and everyone else around you, just like she's saying. And we have seen that even in, like, canceling appointments with people we're going to interview, or, just in our daily life. Like, if we have a strong knowing that something is right for us to, like, cancel or quit, the other person is always like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really needed that time, or I wasn't feeling it either. Let's, postpone, do it later. So why is this, right? And why do your preferences matter so much, right? I don't know why we are all so brainwashed into thinking that we need to be a version of someone else. But isn't that kind of true? Don't you feel like you've, in certain circumstances, maybe all the time, you try to be a version of someone that's different from your natural self? But if you think about it, when have all the really big things come to you in life? When you're being your natural self, when you're just doing what you want to do that day, when you're just wearing what you want to wear that day, when you're just talking how you want to talk or not talk that day, that's when the stuff really happens. And it's when you are faced with a decision of, do I play along here, or do I really just speak like what I really think, what I really want? Again, in that connected way, that's when this happens. So you doing you and really investing the time in knowing what your preferences are, that is going to solve 99% of any problem you think you have. Because I guarantee there's only a problem in your life if you're not living your truth in that area. Like, I just had some really big financial changes in my life, and it was because there was something just nagging at me for a long time, this ambiguity. And I finally got to the place where I had to address it, or I was going to drown in anxiety. That's just the place I got to with it, which I didn't need to get there. But I was also really afraid of having the conversation, right? But I did it. It was not a big deal. It was received well. And I had a really huge life level shift because of it. Not a big deal. When I decided to share, this is what I would prefer, I got it. And I think you'll find too that even if it's a no, even if you're like, okay, I'm going to be vulnerable and share what I prefer, even if the other person isn't into it, you have cleaned up a huge energy drain in your life, because now you've opened up to allow whatever it is that you are preferring to come in. So I know this is really simplistic and I'm being really vague, but what are your preferences? Maybe it's the food that you would prefer to eat. Maybe it's how you'd want to dress, how you want to spend your money, what you want to do with your day, your schedule, how you want to spend time with your partner. There's so many variables in our lives that often we think we're just going along with whatever they want to do, or what you should be doing, or when you should wake up to be a good person and to be productive. And I think this year especially, we really need to tap into, how do I want to do this? What works best for me? Because as you implement that along your day, holy cow, you're going to see more confidence. You're going to see more results in your life. Your, law of attraction magnet is getting polished up whenever you do that. You're clearer, and more of what you want will come to you because you're being more of what you want. So it's life-changing to do these tiny little things that seem insignificant.
I got a question. My question this is for Rachel and for anybody watching. It is about avoidance. So when you talk about what you want, right? When I do this with clients as well, oftentimes what comes up is what you don't want, or what you want to get rid of, or what you want to go away. So someone will say, I'll say, well, what is it that you really want? And they say, well, I really want so-and-so to stop doing this. And I really want this. I want less of this in my life. And I want more money so that I can have less blah, 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 blah. Right? There's that. Actually, is that where I'm going? Because I want to talk about avoidance, because here's my experience. I'll just tell you my truth, and then we'll figure it out. I have some experience with telling hard truths and having them, so letting things build, acting in a way that I think is appropriate, or like my role, until I cannot take it anymore, until I'm like, somebody has to say this, and apparently that somebody is me. And I will say the truth. I will do the hard thing. I'm always, to be fair, even in these roles, like I'm always showing up as myself. And I sometimes avoid conversations because my experience is I tell the truth, I speak my truth, and nothing bad happens, which is amazing, because I've had some conversations that have come from like getting to a place of such frustration that, wow, have I said some things that other people are like, holy shit, Carrie, I can't believe you said that. What did they say? And I'm like, nothing. They didn't say anything. They didn't like, but then nothing has happened. It's like, I feel better for sure, but the thing that I want to change hasn't changed. And so I avoid, tell great stories to myself about why I'm avoiding and why, like, well, it doesn't matter, and then get to a place of like pissed offedness where I can't take it another second. Then I tell the truth and I feel better, but nothing changes. So is this an invitation for me to, and I feel aligned in the way I'm showing up every day, like I feel good. Is this an invitation for me to like do something uncomfortable that feels, the idea of it feels open? Or am I just going along with my happy and speaking my truth? That's my question, people.
So there's an element here of, I can't have what I want because other people won't change.
Yeah, they're stupid heads.
And this will apply if you even, I was trying to sell a screenplay last year and I made some progress, but I can't make someone buy that, right? I can't force someone to see how amazing I am and what the story is and buy it. But what I can do is ask myself, what feelings am I trying to accomplish by doing this? What will I get emotionally if I sell a screenplay? I will feel creatively validated. I'll feel like I'm in collaboration. I'll feel financially rewarded. I'll feel like this subject matter is exposed to a lot of people. So I can write that down and give that to myself now. I can give myself what I want. And the more I do that, the more I'm a match to that happening outside of me and it coming to me. Like Dale was saying, things come to her. That's how it works. We are the magnet. Things come to us that are a match to us. That's why you change your insides. It takes a little bit of time and then your outside life shifts. So, what are you trying to accomplish, Carrie, by having, what would you want and what would you get from it emotionally?
Well, it's easier to go to the emotional side first. So I'm a feeling of autonomy. I think that is a big feeling. I say autonomy, also collaboration with my husband. But see, I immediately go to the negative, like an obstacle being removed, right? But I could look at it as just like there's the road ahead.
Obstacle to what? Right.
Yeah, like the road ahead is just wide open for my husband and I to bring our genius and do what we absolutely love doing with so much ease and creativity and gosh, I was going to say less resistance, but just speed and excellence. We get the like joy of knowing that we're helping people achieve what it is that they want to achieve. So there's this like element, like I love doing what I do, and I love empowering other people to succeed and like being able to do more. That's what it is. Being able to do what we're already doing more, better, faster. Like all of that feels so good. So what I want, right? I want autonomy. I want to be in charge. I want, it's funny, I don't want power. I already have that. I want to feel empowered. And yeah.
Okay. So how can you give that to yourself?
I mean, I think I give that to myself like on the daily. Mm-hmm. I think the way that I can give more of that to myself is to keep my focus there, to keep only looking at that. When I start to find a story that doesn't look like that, to turn my head the other way. Mm-hmm. Which I already know. I already know all of this. And I know everybody watching, you guys already know that we know all of this. And this is the practice. Mm-hmm. This is the work that we're all doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So Gina Maria has a great question. Why do we let it build up? Why not say it earlier to avoid the buildup of resentment? And there's so many reasons for that. You know, maybe in some areas of your life, you don't let anything build up, right? It's no problem. Piece of cake. I'm living my truth. I don't care if there's, someone who disagrees with me, whatever, easy to take care of. But in some areas of life, we have more conditioning to be like appropriate to, maybe there's a hierarchy that you are taught to respect. Maybe you grew up and it was modeled that you did what your husband said you should do. Maybe it's all about a wounding that you have as a kid. Like there's so many reasons that we could not say something, that we would avoid saying our truth, that we would think maybe it's selfish or wrong to override the other dominant vibration that is going on, right? Because in order to live our truth, we need to be the dominant vibration in our life. We need to be secure in who we are and to not care more about what other people think than what we think. We need to care more about how we feel than how others may perceive us. And that's not always an easy thing to do, depending on how you grew up or what you think or your religion or whatever. So it's good to be able to know I'm deferring. I'm deferring right now and I know it. That's the first step. I'm choosing to follow their truth or whatever they got going on more than me. And that's a problem that I'm going to slowly work up to. I'm going to listen to myself more. I'm going to know my truth. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to focus on it more. I'm going to maybe say something at some point, and then I'm going to do something, and then I'm not going to care. I'm just going to do my own thing, and I'm not going to look around to see who's there and who's watching me, right? So if there's a harder part of your life, you don't have to just go like 180 on it. Work up to it, and that can help you out of awareness and connection just kind of flip over the areas of your life that are harder.
I want to answer Gina Maria's question, like personally, why I let it build up and see if this resonates is because the things that make me amazing, right? Like I'm an exceptional leader. I have the ability to connect with people on a deep level. I sometimes say the things that everybody else is thinking or the thing that everyone else is afraid to say, right? All of these things make me amazing. These are things that I got praised for as a child, right? Like always being able to know the right thing to say. And I was identified early on in my growing up as like, she's a leader. And they sent me to like special, I remember the school recommending me to like go to leadership things and do like, that's all great. But on that same note, I was also too outspoken, too bossy, right? Like it's both. And so I think that's the tension that we sometimes live in, at least for me, is like knowing my truth, living unfiltered, and having that filter having been put on me, right? All of us have had filters put on one way or another. Don't be too bossy, don't be too flashy, don't be too whatever, right? Exactly what Rachel says. When I start to feel that like, would it be too, maybe I'll, right? Like if I'm keeping myself small, or waiting for the right time, that's a good excuse that I use, right? Like my body knows the right time. But that's why, right? That's what the buildup comes from. And then for me, I don't know if this is necessarily true for everyone, but for me, the timing is right in the now. And if I miss it, it's not there necessarily when I want to go back to it. Does that make sense? Like there will be an opening for me to like speak my truth or do whatever. And if I choose not to take it and I like go the next day and like, today's the day, I'm going to like, that moment has passed. My alignment it is the window often closes. And so then I often don't trust myself, right? When the next window comes. So that's what it's been for me. And yet every time I've really trusted myself, every time that oftentimes for me, it is a lot about speaking. I know that that's not necessarily true for everyone. Doing is just as important as speaking. But my particular area where I often don't live in my truth is not saying the things that I want to say that need to be said. Like I will not say hard things until I say hard things. And what has happened for me a lot is I'll start to say it and then second guess myself and then worry. And then someone will say, well, what were you going to say? What is it? Right. And then I'll speak my truth and it will be just fine. But that's my reason. It's probably your guys' reason too. Why you let things build up. So you got some sort of story about it's too risky, too scary. You're too this, too that. You know your truth. You're awesome. You're amazing. Your preferences matter. Your preferences matter. Rachel told me one time, and this was really life-changing. If it's best for you, Carrie, it's best for everyone. And she talked about that in all the ways it works out. But I just want you to think about that. Like, if it's, we hear that as mothers and we don't always listen to it, right? If it's best for the mom, it's best for the family. But if it's best for you, it's best for everyone involved. Every single person involved in ways that you don't even know that they're involved. It's the whole butterfly effect. If you live in your alignment and your truth, the ripple effects of that are best for everyone on the whole freaking planet. I see Rachel's drawing. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, Dale, all right. This is exactly my point right now. Preferences make us uniquely us. So my light is crazy today. Oh my gosh, you can't even see it. All right. There is a star, and there's another star, and there's a ripple, right? And there's a bunch of other colors in here that you cannot see. Oh, here we go. That's a little bit better. There's hearts, right? All of those things are your preferences, like what makes you unique, right? Another person's little picture would be completely different, right? Maybe it'd share one thing, but maybe in a different shape. And so you are this. And when you live this, when you are like, yeah, I want to wear purple pants, and yeah, I want salmon for dinner, and yeah, I want to go for a walk right now, and yeah, I want to go here on vacation. You live your truth. You embody your particular energetic picture. And what happens is that your life then starts filling in, right? You start attracting the people, the places, the things that would particularly light you up. And that happens after you choose to embody your truth. And then you become an energetic match in your world to your truth. And your truth starts showing up for you in real life. And what you got on the inside will then match the outside. So why is that important? It's because you want specific things. You don't want the same life that I want. You know, I saw this bumper sticker once that said, "My vacation is your worst nightmare." I love that because it's so true, even just with me and Eric. I go camping by myself. He stays home in his nice warm bed. But what I love about how we are so unique is that we have so much opportunity to have richness in our lives, richness within all of the different ways, all of the ways. And when you live your truth, you become a magnet for your specific richness, right? It's unlimited, unlimited. I mean, personally, right, last year I found out I'm autistic. Hello, autistic spectrum here. And at first I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm still the same person. I'm going to learn about this and it's going to be cool, but it's not going to change my life or anything, right? Wrong. Because now that I'm learning about it and meeting other autistic people and working with them, I am realizing, oh, there's so much more that I can unpack from this. There's so much more natural me that can come out now because I didn't realize I wasn't being natural in those ways. And I'm reading a book right now actually called Unmasking Autism, which I highly recommend for anyone, even if you're not neurodivergent. because it's all about what we're talking about today. It's like, what are the ways I've changed myself to be less too much, to be less weird, right? How have I fit into society? And how really has everyone fit into society? If we all decide to be our natural selves and embody that beautiful, unique picture that we are, the world would look very different. But it's an inside job. We can't do that for everyone. We can only do that for ourselves. But as I'm doing this, right, I've already known this. I've already embodied all the truths I've known to embody. There's always more to go, which means there's always more richness. There's always more joy. There's always more harmony. There's always more collaboration, creativity, abundance to behold and to attract. And so much of that process is automatic. You are not micromanaging your attraction. You're not micromanaging the results in your life. They come to you when you work on this. You polish up your little magnet here by living and embodying your truth. The outside world changes for you, and it will dazzle you completely. And it's going to feel more natural as you go on. It's going to feel easier. Life is going to feel like you're continually letting your shoulders down and living in more relief, because you're not acting, you're not playing, you're not fitting into someone else's arbitrary rules, you're not creating your business for anyone else. You're finding your truth in each place. Over time, it's going to get clearer and easier. And you're just going to see life can be so easy and so amazing and so fun. Hello, ease is easy. And that's what I love about it. It's a never-ending journey, just like me trying to avoid this light. and it's a fun one. It's a really fun one. You're muted.
There we go. Let's talk about that in the context of be surrounded by other people who empower you to live your truth. Because I am thinking about that today. I'm thinking about, well, so many things as you were talking. You were like, find your joy, find your whatever. I'm recognizing sometimes for me living in my truth, there is a vulnerability aspect, right? There's some fear around. I'm sure there was fear for you in like owning I'm autistic and what that might mean. And when something has a lot of meaning for us, we can put fear in front of it, right? To keep us safe. And living in your truth might mean being vulnerable, might mean exposing yourself to some judgment, or right, oftentimes from your family, or right, like the people who you love the most, who are just trying to protect you. And I was just listening. I'm preparing to speak to my team today, and I was listening to Thursdays are mental toughness days, but mental toughness is really about acceptance of our circumstances and then choosing where we want to go next. And I just feel like that's truth, right? And there is some vulnerability in that, and there's some vulnerability in like stop fighting, stop resisting, and so that is our whole conversation today, is around vulnerability. And as you were talking about joy, I was remembering the Brene Brown talk about how the thing about joy, or the thing about vulnerability, is you can't experience true joy without it. And I thought, oh, that is an interesting thing. And anyways, all this to be said is living in my truth feels empowering. It really does feel empowering. But sometimes before I get to that empowering, I have to walk through the vulnerable, the scary, the no, I don't want to. There has to be another way. But if I just listen to this, for me, it is right here. Sometimes it's here. It makes my life so much easier. So let's talk about doing that in community. Would I be able to do that? Would I have done that? Luckily, my truth led me to a community of empowered souls who created a safe place for me to share what I wanted and for them to be like, yeah, I see that for you. Yeah, go get that. As opposed to the rooms I had been in before, or like you started this conversation, Rachel, with someone whose coach was telling them, well, that's not how it works. Well, you can't do that. So I just want to reiterate the importance of surrounding yourself with other people who are on the journey to living in their empowered truths and who are encouragers of you living your empowered truth. Because what we know is if it's best for me, it's best for everyone. If it's best for Rachel, it's best for everyone. And if it's best for you, it's best for everyone. So put yourself in a community of other people who get that, who believe in that, who are cheering you on to live your empowered truth. And as many of you know, Rachel and I have that going on. So if she's not posting the link to join us in our group, already done, look at her. But yeah, like that, it does matter. It does matter when you are in the environment. Oh, you changed your light, Rachel. That really worked. When you're in the environment, when you are marinating in the high vibe tribe. And so that's probably somebody else's trademarked thing. But when you're marinating in the vibration of other people living their truths and wanting you to live yours. So join us if you're ready.
Yeah. I also just want to add to that, I'm in the process of doing the shoulder dropping thing and really tuning into where is my truth right now in my business and my prices and how I do things and what do I want this year, right? How can I give myself that? And my truth is benefiting all of you because I have officially lowered the investment in the group. It is now less than my monthly gym membership. And you can save even more if you purchase 6 months at a time. So if you've been in the past and you've paid more, I love it. It was worth 100% of that and more. And now you can come back in for a lower investment. If you've never joined us, come in. This is your gym membership for your vibration, and it will do so much for you. Because when you elevate your vibration in any area of your life, it is going to bring up everything else. That's what multidimensional results are. And when you focus on your alignment, ba-bam, you get it, right? You're polishing that magnet and what you want can come to you. So, yeah. All right. I just want to say, come in, join us. It's like this. It's gentle. It's beautiful. It's uplifting. It's everything you want it to be and more, because we get to talk to you one-on-one in the group with your face there. And it's really, really great. This is fantastic, but having you in the room virtually is even better. And I'm just loving that Gina Maria is wearing purple leggings and a pink Archelaus hoodie. That is so cool. I love it. And she's saying that pricing is hard for her. And I totally get that because it's so personal. There's so many rules. But Gina Maria is in our group, so you can bring that up in our next call and we can help you with that. So, yeah, I mean, this is a huge topic, but it's so simple. How do you feel? How do you feel? This is a great place for if you're a journaler, maybe at the end of your day, where did I make a decision that didn't feel so good today? Where did I make a decision that felt great? And what happened from both of those things? That can grow your awareness of your truth and help you yield your magic wand a little bit more accurately for the next time. So again, gentle, easy, no judgment on yourself. It's going to improve over time if you start paying attention to how you feel when someone asks you, what do you want for breakfast? Or do you like this coat that I'm wearing? Or whatever it happens to be, you're always going to have an answer. So if you start paying attention, your life's going to improve.
Oh, that just made me think of a funny story, so I'll tell it. I know we're almost out of time. A couple years ago, my family was on vacation, and it was, I think we took like a red eye. I was very tired, and we were getting out of our Airbnb, and my husband got dressed, and he was wearing a white shirt that was like a little bit too big for him. And he came into the room, and apparently he was kidding. And he says, "Does the shirt make me look fat?" And my response wasn't, "Yeah, it makes you look fat." But I think my response was like, "Oh, yeah, well, I guess it's a little big, and so it makes you look big." And he was like so offended. But he changed his shirt, and that was best for everyone, actually. Then he felt better. My kids still joke with me about it, but that was an instance where my filter was gone. I spoke my truth, and nothing bad happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can all go to those things of like, what do I say right now? What do they really want to hear from me? Doesn't matter. What do you want to say? What is your truth? We can all practice that. My boyfriend the other day asked me if it looked like he was gaining weight because it's like going up on the scale. And I know he's been working out a lot more. He's got more muscle, but his shirts have been a little tighter lately. And so I said, I was like, well, muscle does weigh pounds, right? But also your shirts have been a little tighter lately. And so, we can be so gentle and polite with each other, but does that really get us anywhere? Not really. I'm really appreciative when my friends are honest with me, especially if it's about my appearance. Like, you got a hair sticking up or your tag sticking out, or, maybe you should change your pants or something. I don't know. I think all of that heartfelt information is good information. And it doesn't mean that you need to take the advice of what you get back. So, I can see, maybe this is a different topic, but the intersection of what is your truth, what is your self-worth, and pricing, I can see is like going on in Gina Marie's head over here. And I think that's a really big topic and maybe something that could be beneficial for us to talk about. But yeah, about today, we're almost there. You matter. What you prefer matters, but try to keep your eyes on your own page, right? As you get into your own preferences, you're going to notice 99% of the people have different preferences than you. And if you stick to yours, if you feel good about yours, if you make those decisions, the people who do resonate with you will find you. It will happen. And then your life will be so rich and full of other people that you can talk about that stuff with. But I think there's a real risk to being like, oh, well, I like this, so I'm better than you. And, these people are dumb. I hear that a lot, actually, even in the spiritual community. So just keep your eyes on your own paper, do what makes you feel good, and that magic wand of yours will get a lot of work.
I can't overstate that. Keep your eyes on your own paper. Like, keep your eyes in your own life and your own preferences, because the minute you start to look at what you don't like or how stupid they are or whatever, then you've fallen out of alignment with yourself. Like, it's great. I mean, I hear all the time, people are like, you live in a completely different reality than me. I'm like, yeah, and I'm going to keep it that way. So I don't necessarily say that to them, but like, yeah, and I want to keep it that way. I want to live in this reality. So the more you keep your eyes on your own page, the more, as Rachel was coaching me through, well, what could you do to think, right? The more you look at what you do want and what's working and how you want to feel, the more of that you get to live until you are living in a different reality than other people. And it's rad and you want to stay there.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better. Okay, everyone, we're going to leave with Gina Marie's wise words. You matter, and it doesn't matter what other people think. Hurrah for that. say goodbye to my little cupcake unicorn, and wield your own. We'd love to see it. That's it. We love you. We'll see you next week. And thanks for coming today. We really appreciate spending time with you.